Get ready, because we're going on safari today. I'll be taking you through Safari Adventure, one of the parks in Nuka World, and we'll be finding all the terminals, collectible items, and recipe books that you can find, as well as some tips here and there. Let's get straight on in. The first enemy you're going to encounter is the dreaded gatorclaw. There's a lot of background to this, but essentially it's a Jackson chameleon along with a American alligator. So, now that you will have to deal with a kind of Deathclaw-esque enemy, you will meet a new friend, Cito. He is one of the most just downright fun characters to talk to. A bit like Tarzan, raised by ghoulrillas in the Primate House. You'll meet his family and they might even be able to help you later on. I'll also show you the unique item that Cito gives you once you complete everything. Now, there are several buildings that you can visit here. One is the Welcome Center, but more on that later, because we need to collect a few things first. Pass by all the stands, collect what you can in this area. Lots of the cash registers have cool items in it. I'm also going to show you the two cappy positions where you can find them if you're wearing the appropriate glasses. One cappy is in here just in front of the Primate House, so grab him before heading on into the Primate House. Now, it requires a key in which you need to talk to Cito first, so speak to him and then you'll be able to gain access into here. After which you'll be able to meet his family, a load of ghoulrillas, including one called Chris, who is the king. They raised Cito in here once he was abandoned by his family. And for more on his background, you can get his note over here in the corner. If you're reading this note, then you've met Cito. His father, Marcos, was killed in the super mutant attack in our settlement, and I'm afraid my own wounds will be taking me as well. I don't have much time and I'm terrified to send him out into the world alone, but I don't have a choice. I'm begging you to please take him in and see that he gets food and shelter he'll need in order to survive. Tell our little Cito that his parents love him and that if he's looking for us, we'll always be inside his heart. Cito's mother, Imelda. Now, you can get a Nuka-Cola Quartz and some other items, as this is where Cito resides. And once you chat to him, he'll give you a bit of a background that he found a scientist, or as he calls him, a wrinkled man. He was a ghoul. And he is the one responsible for the gatorclaw infestation. Now, the reason I'm looking so much at Chris here is you can actually persuade Cito to bring Chris along. Chris doesn't do all that much. He's just a bit of a sponge for damage, and he won't attack all that much. You can get a Jangles the Moon Monkey inside of this. Other than that, that's the Primate House cover. Let's head on out. Once you speak to Cito in the Primate House, he will give you Dr. McDermott's journal. This one will give a bit of a background, so we'll listen to it. I'll show you where his gravesite is, some other items, and then we'll move on round to the Bear Cave next. Let's go.
Facility. This is my final recording.
So this is where he was buried by Cito.
The thing I created, the thing I called the gatorclaw, they must be destroyed. They can't be tamed. They can't be controlled. Their sheer ferocity is like nothing I've ever seen. And now the Nuka-Gen replicator is out of control. It's producing them at an alarming rate. Please, somebody, anybody, find my passcode or Dr. Hines. Shut down the replicator before it's too late. And if this recording should reach Dr. Hines, please tell him to forgive me.
Okay, so that begins the Safari Adventure, in which you can talk to Cito again after listening to it.
Due to a mix-up at Safari Adventure's Animal Waste Facility, apple juice will not be served this evening at the Four Leaf Fried Fish Restaurant.
So there's lots of lunch boxes that you can take advantage of here, as well as a Nuka Cherry. Once you've grabbed everything, we can move on round the back. Now, the gatorclaws will, once you get into the replicator lab, which we'll see later on, it will tell you the location of all the gatorclaws, so don't worry too much in seeing all of them. If you open this expert locked door, you'll be able to get into a pack member who has a duffel bag and some items. A gatorclaw normally resides in this little patch here. In the water. He's just chilling. Now, next up is the bear house. Bear cave, should I say. Which can be entered one of two ways. Either you go this entrance, which I will go, and I'll show you where it comes out at the other side. Gatorclaws are not the only thing in this park. And you'll find a Yaoguai fighting one. Normally the Yaoguai comes out on top. Opening the cage door will take you into another section with a little maintenance terminal, which we can have a little read of. So, this is the janitor, B. Ross. They sent me out to the northern habitats today to clean up some of the vomit from a child who ate too much. Not sure why they picked me again. When I got back, Tomlinson and Fremk was just sitting at the break table talking quietly. The moment I came into the room, they both nervously looked at me. I got up and left. Something is definitely going on here. Fremp called in sick today, so I had to change out the lights in the reptile house. Took me 6 hours since the place was so damn crowded. I was putting the equipment back into the maintenance shed and I saw Fremp and Tomlinson sitting in Fremp's car. I saw Fremp hand over something and then Tomlinson got out and walked away. I need to get to the bottom of this. I decided to put a holotape in the empty locker next to Fremp's. I'm saying Fremp because I think it's like Fremk. I didn't get anything for days, but I finally scored big when I picked up a conversation between them, and they were talking about something called Project Cobalt. More on that in another video. I have no idea what it is. They never tell the janitorial staff anything important. Why am I being left out? I'm supposed to bring up a wee bit about Project Cobalt here. The work orders were piling up, but I couldn't wait around anymore. I finally cornered Frem and confronted him about Project Cobalt. He tried to lie his way out first, but he finally gave in. Told me it was a joint cooperation between the US military and Nuka World. I couldn't believe it. I mean, what the hell could we have here the military needed? I need to know more. Fremp told me to drop it, but to hell with that guy. I'm taking this to Brabberton himself if I have to. Now, he is a janitor, and he's talking to Fremp, who I'm assuming is either maintenance staff or a scientist. It's hard to tell. So then he writes an actual entry. It's been 2 weeks since Ross asked about Cobalt. I told the idiot to drop it, but he wouldn't listen. All of a sudden, our department gets notice that Ross is taking an unscheduled vacation, and no one seems to know where he's gone. Now they want me to purge his terminal before the end of October. I hate to wipe all this out, but I can't refuse. If I don't do what the security department says, I may end up on the vacation list too. Obviously keeping everything very much under wraps. Once you exit, this was just an alternative entrance into the bear cave. It may actually tell you to go in there if you're just trying to eliminate the remaining gatorclaws. Now, let's pick up some recipes, shall we? Oh, I forgot this is an alternative exit over to the Angry Anaconda, which actually is a really good segue. So, there's a few gatorclaws out here at the remains of the quite mad-looking roller coaster. It was unstable and obviously never finished. Now, we are going to be introduced here to the AFAD. They are an animal rights organisation which were harassing Safari Adventure or helping the animals, depending which way you want to morally look at it. Now, we've got the AFAD key and the interrogation, as well as a lot of pre-war money. So, let's use the key to go inside here. It's an expert lock if you don't want to go that route. And in the back, you'll find Dr. Hines, at least what's left of him, as well as his passcode. Pick that up, and of course the fusion core that's outside, before having a listen to the interrogation holotape. Let's go.
Please, I don't know what you people want from me.
Stop playing innocent, Dr. Hine. We know what's going on in that laboratory of yours.
Yeah, Hine. We know what's going on down there.
Are you going to shut up and let me do this, Rabbit?
Sorry, Mike. I just want to scare the guy.
For God's sakes, Rabbit, you're supposed to use our code names.
Both of you shut up. Now look, Dr. Hine. We know Brad Burton has you performing cloning experiments on the animals you locked up in that torture chamber you call a lab.
I can assure you, we treat all of our specimens with the utmost respect. There's really no reason to keep me here against my will.
Oh, that's where you're wrong, Dr. Hine. We brought you to the Angry Anaconda construction site for a very specific reason. As a
Nice.
supposed- Look,
Why don't you just untie me
But you aren't
and
going
let me head
anywhere.
back to the laboratory?
Hey, Mike, Ingrid, something's going on outside.
Before you head home. Located in
What is it,
Nuka-Town,
Rabbit?
USA.
I don't know. People running around everywhere. Maybe looking for us. Maybe not. Looks pretty crazy.
Oh, I wonder what this
All right.
gator claw has to say.
Rabbit, stay with Dr. Hines. Robin, let's walk the perimeter of the place with Mouse and see what the hell is going on.
You know, the Bramoloff is actually alive when you come into the theater. I didn't know that. I was waiting for the inspiring speech that the gator claw was going to make. Turns out, he hasn't. So yeah, they kidnapped Dr. Hines.
To announce the grand reopening of our World of Refreshment ride, now featuring delicious Nuka-Cola Quantum.
And this appears to be another building that was never really introduced. So yeah, grab Dr. Hines' password before you even enter the part, and it'll help you out, especially when it comes to the visitor center. So let's go in. After this, we'll check out Cappy's treehouse, get the last Cappy, and show you the reptile house. Inside of here, you'll find yourself more gator claws. But head on over to the right, and you'll be able to get Nuka-Cola Orange. Drop down, and we've got some more items scattered about here, including a Nuka Grape.
Nice.
And the final Nuka recipe. So you've seen the Hardy one. Well, this is the Rush. And then we've got the Welcome Center terminal, which will give us a bit of an insight into Safari Park. So this was Guest Relations Department. This month, Safari Adventure will continue to host school field trips to our park. Due to the unfortunate accident and subsequent cleanup after last month's escape in the Big Cats area, we're asking all school groups to be accompanied by a minimum of one adult chaperone per 6 children. In addition, please ensure all guests fill out a full death and dismemberment liability waiver. Any questions can be directed to the Guest Relations Department. We're continuing to have security issues with the misguided and radical AFAD, Animal Friends and Defenders group. These individuals can be visually identified by their animal masks, various animal tattoos, and on occasion, full animal suits. If you spot any of them, do not attempt to approach, contact security, or activate the nearest Protectron pod. We don't actually see too many of them in the park, or at least in Safari Adventure. This was from JCB, John Caleb Brabberton, the owner of Nuka World. Any and all deliveries are received and marked Project Cobalt should be forwarded to the Secure Beverageer Laboratory at Nuka World Bottling Plant. These items are not for employee use, and any employee that opens these deliveries without authorization will have their employment immediately terminated. Lastly, due to the security breach by the AFAD group at the cloning facility, a code Grizzly has been initiated. Please refer any visitors or requests about the facility directly to Mr. Brabberton's office. In addition, the Angry Anaconda construction site is now off limits to anyone other than security personnel. The coaster's superstructure has been determined to be dangerously unstable, and we wish to avoid injury to any of our employees. Okay, so we can kind of figure out what's going on there. We've also got AFAD Manifesto, which we can listen to, and the employees only terminal. Having a read of this, we'll see a ransom note. So, attention Mr. Brabberton or one of his lackeys. We tried doing this the nice way and you haven't played along. You even went so far as to ban us from your parks. Well, sir, this is a free country, despite what you corporate fat cats think. AFAD is going to show you don't have the control you thought your money buys. We have your top scientist, Dr. Hine, held hostage right where you plan to build your precious Angry Anaconda. Come alone and we can discuss the terms of his release. Bring the police and you lose your star employee. Make the right choice, Mr. Bradberton. Not the guy I would imagine you'd want to threaten. Now, the security levels here are quite cool. Code Chinchilla is normal, no security measures. Code Orangutan is, light security protocols. Code Dingo is medium, and Code Grizzly is a full security lockdown. So, we know it's in Code Grizzly. We can unlock the door and listen to the AFD manifesto to learn a wee bit more about this radical group.
The members of AFAD have an important message for those.
Chipmunk, tell them what our name means.
What are you doing? I have the thing running right now.
Don't just say AFAD. Tell them what it stands for.
I'm trying to do something serious here, Rabbits, and I already have the recording started.
We'll take this out of the recording later. Just tell them.
Fine. We, the members of the Animal Friends and Defenders, have an important message to those who are causing the destruction of the environment. We will not stand idly by and watch our animal brothers and sisters get hunted to extinction. We will take action. We will not remain complacent while corporations abuse our animal brothers and sisters in the name of so-called science. We will take action. We will not turn our backs as...
Oh, don't forget the part about slaughtering the animals needlessly for food.
You know I'm recording, right? You see that red light, yeah?
I'm sorry, Chipmunk. I was just trying to,
Just toss that tape and we'll try again. And when we're done, don't throw out the good tape and keep the bad one like last time.
Well, now we know a wee bit more about the FAD, a ragtag group of people. Now, unlocking this will gain you access to a lot of blood packs. Seems they were running dangerously low on, well, anything. We'll read their terminals and then we will listen to the rest of Dr. McDermott's stuff. So this was Dr. Hine, which McDermott mentions in his final holotape as a good friend and colleague and someone that he respected and could have helped with the research. We'll read from the bottom because this is the new year. I think I drank a little too much last night when we were ringing in the new year. Woke up right next to the Nuka Gen replicator's main terminal and a program was running. Looks like it was trying to sequence an anteater with 16 giraffe-type legs, scales, 4 eyes and 2 tails. Amusingly, even in my inebriated state, I've created a fairly viable specimen that could possibly work. I don't think the animal would live very long, but my scientific curiosity says I should give it a try. I have to consult Dr. McDermott. Those damn AFAD idiots are at it again. It's only been a few weeks since I vandalised my Corvega by filling it with manure, and the security department assured me that it would be the last time they were allowed anywhere near Nuka World. However, I arrived at the facility today to find "Stop the Torture" painted across the door. I don't know why these morons think we're torturing animals. Anything that we need to dispose of is dealt with a swift and rather humane manner. Thanks to Dr. McDermott's help, I've been able to isolate the segmentation issues I've been having with PB041. The polar bears in the last segment came out of the Nuka Gen replicator inside out and then exploding. I assume this was due to an incorrect sequence, but I've never seen such a violent reaction from a specimen before. It was a rather spectacular result, strictly from a scientific point of view. I've had my third request for a budget increase denied due to resources being diverted to this Project Cobalt I'm hearing so much about. I hope Roberton realises Safari Adventure isn't just an amusement park. It's also home to several hundred living and breathing organisms which have unique food, water and environmental requirements. I've asked for more information on Project Cobalt, but I'm continually met with denials. For all the trouble it's worth, this project better produce something big. Lastly, it's about 1 AM and I just received a strange message via the phone that I'm needed at the Angry Anaconda construction site to assist with an escaped animal that's been injured. I swear, those security guys need to be more careful with our specimens. Last time this happened, not only did the escaped buffalo end up with a broken leg, but the other one died when security had the wrong dosage in the tranquilizer darts. I'll report my findings in the next entry. So obviously this replicator is quite an important piece of equipment that they're using, and it also seems that these are the two main scientists responsible for it. Unfortunately, Dr. Hine dies as the bombs go off because he's being held hostage, and Dr. McDermott just doesn't know, so he presumes that Dr. Hine's still alive somewhere. Now, we read this one from the top. So, my attempts at creating the gator claw continue. I have the correct samples of the Jackson chameleon and the American alligator in the mix, but keeping sample Q334 stable continues to elude me. If I intend to create a guardian creature for Safari Adventure, it needs to be able to listen to and comprehend my commands. I was hoping the brain cells from Q334 would do the trick, but I've seen failure after failure. I hesitate to throw the switch and see what happens. What if I can't control it? What if it ends up attracting more attention to the park? I think I'll have to check the sequence a few more times to be sure. While foraging for food and supplies today, I stumbled across the remains of an astonishing biological specimen. It was a humanoid in appearance, but much larger. It had greenish-coloured skin and roughly human features. It appeared to be wearing clothing and had been recently killed by what looked like bullet wounds. After dragging it back to the laboratory, I began an extensive examination. My conclusion was that it was a genetic mutation of a human. I can only hope that whatever caused this remarkable mutation can be extracted and used for my own experimentation. I'm entering it into the record as sample Q334. One of the 2 backup reactors for the laboratory died today. That leaves a single generator to run the facility's power. If the last reactor goes down, I may have to consider destroying the Nuka replicator and abandoning the lab. Even though I could have already done this a long time ago, I realise this kind of machine could possibly be the last of its kind on Earth, meaning this could be the mankind's only hope for repopulating the Earth with animals and returning the ecosystem to normal once conditions on the surface are suitable for habitation. How long has it been since the bombs fell and transformed me into this withering husk of a man? I can't even remember how much time's passed. I've started to talk to myself aloud now. I think this loneliness is finally getting to me. I haven't seen a friendly human in such a long time, and I've almost forgotten what it's like. Trying to concentrate and work is getting more and more difficult. Maybe it would be better if I ended it all now, but then I asked myself who would protect the laboratory from those that would seek to misuse its gifts. I suppose I have no choice. It's been decades now. My metamorphosis continues. My body is changing, adapting to the radioactive fallout in the air. Instead of my organs shutting down and my life being slowly drained away, my body is fighting back. My skin has thickened and become heavily wrinkled as it attempts to resist the radiation rather than allowing it to penetrate my body, so he's turning into a ghoul. Rather than be horrified by the changes, I've decided to study them, to learn more about the effect of this on the human body. Perhaps I'll use the data from these studies to find a cure one day, but for now, I am just happy to be alive. Now, let's listen to his other tape. So we'll listen to 47B and then 53L and then the last one.
Survivor at the Safari Adventure Replication Facility, continuing my personal recordings. It's been, hell, I don't know how long it's been. I think I stopped counting months ago. Or was it years? Even with the scientific equipment at my disposal, it's clear there's no going back from what I've become. The radiation from the bombs has taken its toll on my body, twisting and deforming my physical appearance. But instead of falling into despair, I've embraced the change and used it as a basis for my new cloning research. Perhaps this curse will turn out to be a blessing. I just wish Dr. Hine was here to guide my hand. I feel lost without him.
The next one is more about his survival.
Last known survivor at the Safari Adventure Replication Facility, continuing my personal recordings. I've been continuing to modify the Nuka-Gen replicator to provide a source of food. It's ironic that the very same device Nuka World was using to create its animal specimens for leisure has become integral to my survival. Using a tissue sample from a cow, I was able to replicate a viable clone, consume it as food, then use the remaining tissue to create another. I figure as long as the Nuka-Gen replicator continues to function, I'll have an endless supply of food for years to come. Dr. Hine would be proud of my accomplishment. It's sad. It's been so long I've almost forgotten what he looked like. My God, it's been decades now. Maybe even a century or more, hasn't it? Has it been so long? I'll continue recording later.
So once you get into this, you can get the program history, and it can show you some of the things McDermott was trying. Codename Gatorclaw. Subject survived the incubation period, but appears to be in a highly volatile and aggressive state. Infusion and command recognition patterns appears impossible. Recommend termination and resequencing after study period. Sample Q334 continues to be unstable and unpredictable. That's the super mutant strain. So the gatorclaws are technically a wee bit of the super mutant. We've got a bit of super mutant in them, although that just makes them... They got the anger part of it anyway. Subject failed to survive incubation period. Cellular breakdown occurred within an hour of sequencing. Sample remitted to the incinerator. Next attempt will adjust the formula mixture for Q334. And this one, subject survived incubation period but exhibited extreme levels of ionizing radiation. The contamination makes the subject too dangerous for command recognition patterns. Sample remitted to the incinerator. Next attempt will adjust formula and will provide better shielding for segmentation chamber. And from here, you can of course disable it, to which you will be told to eliminate all the remaining gator claws. Let's listen to his final journal as we exit.
This is Dr. Safari Adventure Replication Facility, continuing my personal recordings. I ventured outside today and almost got spotted by a group of wasteland scavengers that had wandered into Safari Adventure. Therefore, against my own better judgment, I'm going to attempt to splice a few of the more dangerous samples I've left in cold storage. I need to use the Nuka-Gen replicator to create some sort of specimen that's formidable, yet trainable. Something that can protect me, but most importantly, protect this facility. It will take some time to work out the chemistry and mathematics of the data, but I'm confident I can create a viable specimen within a few years. I know Dr. Hine would have objected to this course of action, but he isn't here, and I can't let this equipment fall into the wrong hands.
Okay, now once you listen to that, unlock the door. We'll be able to exit out the secret tunnel. Once outside, you can see this was the rear entrance to the good old laboratory. And that's how they created the gatorclaws. Take them all out and you'll be able to claim this place for your own, and then you can have a decision on whether to deal with Cito or let him live here peacefully alongside whatever gang you give them to. The reaction to each gang you present will be different. So let me just first go into the maze. Did I show you where the cappy is? Oh, it appears we've dropped straight into the fray. Okay, so let's make our way around here. It's not the most difficult maze in the world, so this is the entrance. And we can go in. Now, I do want to show you where the cappy is. It's at a dead end. Right here. There we go. Boom. That's your 2 cappies sorted. Now, let's wander our way around here. Now, most of this is pretty simple. I mean, there are multiple ways that lead round to the elevator. Yep, just follow this route. Right round. Another gator claw. There's a few of them in between you and this bit. Now, the strange thing is, if you try and press this button, it says the main power's out. So I assume you deactivate the power plant, but actually, if you press this button, it'll still activate the lift, giving you a good view of both the park and, of course, getting you up here. There is a little Nuka-Cola iBot still walking about, and a few dead soldiers lying about. Now, most important things upstairs. That would be a Nuka-Cola victory, a massive roll of Nuka-Cade tickets, anywhere from $7.50 to $1,000, packet of duct tape, cash register, as well as a steamer trunk and explosives. Snag all of this and the missile launcher, and if you want to mix your own Nuka, you can indeed up here. It's a fair view of the park. Now, of course, we've been to the visitor centre, the primates, we've checked all the way round to the cave, and of course we've went to the Angry Anaconda, which means we've only one place left to go to. And if we drop down, unless you have the free fall legs, I wouldn't recommend trying that specifically, we can head right on over to the reptile house with the final wee piece of story. There is also a medallion machine up in the Cappy Treehouse. I'll show you here just in a second, but I want to show you the rest of the reptile house. There's a gator claw that you'll have to kill. Deal with him and walk the whole way to the end. You'll find some rats as well as the tour guide. So let me have a little bit of a read here. It's quite a humorous thing. In the event a visitor has been bitten or stung by one of our specimens, don't panic and follow these procedures. Confirm the visitor has a valid park admission ticket with a liability release printed on the back. If they have a valid park admission... Now remember, these people have been stung or bitten by highly venomous creatures, presumably. Or the bite would be very, very nasty. And this is what they want you to do. If they have a valid park admission ticket, they must immediately fill out a Safari Adventure Incident Report. The reports are available in Nukatown, USA at the main office, so obviously halfway across the park. If the visitor is paralysed or otherwise unable to move, inform them that a Nuka World emergency stretcher can be dispatched for $400. Once the Safari Adventure Incident Report has been completed, first aid will be provided, cost of materials and paramedics fee for labour will be billed to the visitor. If the visitor does not have a valid park admission, please call security. I just find that humorous. Due to the recent incidents, the Death Adder, Black Mamba and the Inland Taipan specimens have been moved from the Little Kids Reptile Petting Zone. In the future, employees are strongly encouraged to read the warnings in our enclosures before transferring specimens. They're rather nasty reptiles, them. Guides, please refrain from telling visitors that snake eggs should make a heck of a delicious omelette. This fact is wildly incorrect. Lastly, due to the security issues involving the group calling itself the AFAD, please do not have any visitors hold a specimen that's been removed from its enclosure for reptile touch time. Guides must hold the specimen during the entire experience. We've already lost 3 very expensive reptiles to this misguided animal rights group, and we cannot allow them to steal any more. Okay, after you grab everything up, that's the reptile house. I'll show you the medallion and Cito's special gear that you can get. So, now that we're back, if you go back up to the Cappy Tree House, right onto the second level, or down in the first level, there's the wee medallion. Get that, and you will get your medallion for that challenge to eventually meet Bradberton. Now, as we've done that, we will go find Cito again at the entrance. Again, he can more or less be killed. I don't even think he's essential. But if you do help him, he will give you a very cool weapon. He's also wearing a pretty cool thing called the Wild Man outfit. Again, the only way to get it is to actually take it off him. This is what they look like. It provides more or less the same stats as the Grognag costume. It's just slightly different. Gives +2 strength as well to you. But you can't wear armor over it, so that's something you've definitely got to take into account. Here they are. They're only worth 24, if you can believe it. As for his weapon, he will give you Cito's shiny Slugger. If you have a look at it, it's... Well, what he gives you should be much better than this. Mine was metal and it had spikes in it and a rocket. I guess it must be level dependent. There it is in all its glory. When it's fully maxed out with the big leagues perk and everything, you get nearly 300 damage a swing for this. And it's got rockets on it. I don't know why he never uses it. It seems better than the wooden board he carries around. But anyway. Now, the last thing I want to mention is the flag is on top of the visitor center, or the welcome center. That's where you can go and change it. And the other little thing is, depending on the gang, he'll be scared of the disciples, he'll think the pack are quite funny, and he'll turn around and tell you that he tried to use a terminal when the operators take over the park, and he got angry and broke the terminal. So, the only way to get the Wildman rags is to kill him, and the key that he carries opens the primate door, again, if he dies or you kill him. Either way, it's an option, I suppose. And yeah, that pretty much concludes the entirety of Safari Park. Hope this has been useful. Thank you for watching. So the flagpole is just right there, and you can walk up via a staircase at the back, so that's handy. But wait, there is actually one last thing. I know I almost ended it preemptively there. Walk around the side of Safari Adventure and you'll find a little collection of buildings, let's say, with some containers. One of them has power armor inside, or at least parts of a power armor suit. If you're really lucky, it could be a complete suit. It's right here. It's an expert lock door. With it open, you can walk straight on in. And in my case, I got some XO1. In fact, I got a Mark V torso, which is pretty awesome. And XO1 legs and an arm. No head, but at the end of the day, parts are parts. So this place is located on the map just beside Safari Adventure. And that concludes this whole park in one go. Now I can officially say thank you for watching.